for me, I know that you're a very, very, very product-focused marketing leader.
Yeah.
So I will start with the first question there. Do you take any of this, I don't know, UA creative learnings and provide these insights to the product team, maybe to try and develop this kind of...
Yeah, 100%. 100%. It's something we've talked about many. We've even tried that a little bit. And generally speaking, the more I talk to people within the game design side, you know, they find it very interesting, right? To say like, hey, can we actually explore things with creative? And then based on that, does that give us learnings for, you know, events or live ops, et cetera? Or, you know, there's like we did, I think a few years ago, we had sort of these mini math games in our UA creative. And I believe some of those mini games ended up in the early funnel of our games, Angry Birds Dream Blast. Can't remember off the top of my head how well those performed in an A/B test. But yeah, we've definitely had that. And I think the more communication there is between the UA team, the UA creative team, and the game design team, the more, you know, the more you learn about your players and your players' expectations and why. And one of the things we did a few years ago, so we're a big believer at Rovio in research, in user research, market research, and sort of behavioral research. And one of the things that we really wanted to understand was, why is it that some fake ads that, you know, like, let's say we show gameplay that doesn't exist, like a mini game or something.
We made a business out of it.
Yeah.
So I know it.
So why is it that they work so well, right? Because like often the criticism is, you know, hey, you're showing this ad that doesn't represent what's actually in the game. Surely people would churn out once they see that doesn't exist. And so when we actually did some actual qualitative research around that, what we saw was that as long as the fakeness of the ad is to similar motivations, it actually doesn't bother the player, right? So what I mean by that is, like, for example, you might have like a math mini game for a like a puzzle, let's say match 3 game, and you're like, well, why would a math mini game, you know, like this number bigger than the other, you know, kind of like the Fishdoms type of ads or whatever, like why would that work well with like a match 3 game? And it turns out that, you know, a lot of people play match 3 games because they feel like they're puzzles that they're solving. And so it makes them feel smart, makes them feel like that they're overcoming, you know, problems and solving problems in a kind of in a rhythm. And these little mini math games, when they see them, it kind of triggers the same sort of expectations from a motivation standpoint. So even if it's different, it still triggers the same sort of motivations. And that's where there's still a coherency, which kind of works for them. There's probably like a boundary at which, like, if you go too far, it might create certain levels of churn. But yeah. Anyways, advertising, generally speaking, is not super real, right? Like if you look at a McDonald's commercial, Burger King commercial, you know, the hamburgers you see, those beautiful hamburgers you see, like, it doesn't look at all like what you get in the actual restaurant. And also it's because, like, you know, they're gluing each sesame seed, you know, like painting the bun or whatever.
But I think you're looking at user acquisition as a more like a big marketing overview. Think about, like you say, you're doing a lot of research stuff that like old advertising have been doing, you know, for years, really learning the users, asking them stuff, understanding the motivation. I think this is the big learning point for everyone that is basically who is listening here, that try to understand the motivations of your users, why they are really playing your game, and take this motivation and try to implement it with different type of concept, mechanics, mini games on a marketing UA creative standpoint, which is, it's very, very hard, very easy to say. But you also saw this, and it's insane that you see totally different mechanic or mini game that just enter the games, and you can't really explain why the CPI is lower and the retention is keeping, like, maintaining the same.
Yeah, but understanding your customer, like you said, like sort of classic marketing. Again, like I got into gaming, and I got into gaming because I wanted to get into marketing, and I got into marketing. And one of the reasons I liked marketing in my courses back in the day was, like, in classic marketing, it is all about understanding, you know, your customer. And, like, you know, if you've seen those, like, the Mad Men 1960s, it's all about, like, you know, will this ad inspire them? You know, will they make them, you know, will it make, you know, this person smoked that cigarette or whatever, right? Like, it's a lifestyle thing, and they, you know, it's aspirational, whatever. But again, it's like those classic marketing sort of strategies or tactics, especially on the creative side, it wasn't that it was like, it wasn't just based purely out of creativity, right? There was a lot of market research that went on back in the day. And I think that's something that today is still super relevant, and not just on the marketing side, on the product side as well. So again, like user research is very important. It has been under my department at Rovio up until about 6 months ago, which we created a new department called Player and Portfolio Excellence, and so we've moved that team under there, and community is under there as well. Customer support's under there as well.
What was behind this decision?
I think one of my colleagues at leadership level, she's really cared about this topic, and she was looking for. She had a role. She used to be a game maker. She ran one of our biggest studios. She then moved to HR and eventually to chief sustainability officer when we were a publicly listed company. Obviously, chief sustainability officer as when we're no longer publicly listed, and we're part of Sega, which all the sustainability stuff is kind of more now part of the Sega group, Sega Sammy group. Not really something for us. I mean, obviously we still do things, but she was looking kind of, I think, for like a new role, and it's a topic that she's cared a lot about. It's something that I've felt that really matters, right? It's like at the end of the day, especially in a much more mature market like we are today, where it's not a super high growth market, you have to do everything you can to hold on to your players and your customers, and retention is still extremely important. So of course UA continues to be extremely important, but retaining your players as well. So thinking of a central sort of unit that can review, can sort of own that, and a lot of those individuals are actually embedded in the game teams, just like in my marketing team. You asked about product. Most of my marketing people are fully embedded in the game teams.
Oh, wow.
In fact, the reporting lines are no longer now to me; they're now into the GMs of the games, etc. So.
Oh, so instead of okay, I understand. Okay.
Yeah, so like when I joined Rovio 4 years ago, all of marketing sort of like funneled up to me. It was like a pyramid structure, basically. We had some people already embedded into some of the game teams. Some of the UA folks were already embedded. Some of the product marketing people were already embedded, but line management and everything was still very central. And we felt that, in modern mobile game making and running a game as a business, how do you empower someone to run that business if you don't give them accountability and responsibility for marketing? And so the studio heads or GMs or whatever title you want to call, for us it was very important that they didn't only have product ownership, but they had also ownership over the marketing over their game. And so making sure that our big games had a fully dedicated marketing team that was fully dedicated to that game, sat and like worked with the other game folks, and that pretty much everything, all that line management, everything eventually funneled up to the GM. Now, obviously, I still work. So we have marketing directors in those games or heads of marketing. They still like dotted line into me. We still have weeklies or whatever. I still talk to them. I'm ultimately accountable for all the marketing that happens at Rovio. But it's important that, it's important that the GMs feel like they have real accountability and they have real ownership and agency over those things. And I spend a lot of my time actually working with those GMs, basically.
Amazing.